This portrait of young Abigail Adams was taken shortly after her marriage to John Adams. This portrait relates to my topic because the bond that Abigail and John possessed. Without their bond, there would never have been thought, talk, or anything of the letters that they wrote to each other. Without those letters, she would never have been able to explain her views on women and African American rights. Abigail Adams was a woman well beyond her time. She believed that women deserved equal rights like men. They should have a say in politics as well as government. Adams thought it necessary that women should not hold themselves down by any laws when they have no say in the creating of those laws. She also saw it necessary for women to have an education so they could support themselves outside the household. Abigail Adams was also against slavery. She believed in the emancipation of Africans from slavery. She felt that the color of your skin should not hinder you from receiving an education or being able to go out and do the things that you want to do. The most valuable secondary source that I found is of Abigail Adams, an American Woman by Charles Ackers. The source contains letters she had written to her husband about women's rights, as well as the importance of those letters that she had sent out. The source describes how she was one of the first to come up and reach out for women's rights. The source shows why Abigail Adams saw it necessary for women to have an education. The source shows how she sought out to her husband to change the ways of the government by forming a rebellion and by creating multiple petitions for the rights of women in government. This is a very useful source because it shows how Adams went out of her way to strive for equal rights for women. Charles Ackers' viewpoint of Abigail Adams was that she was a strong and powerful woman that changed the way we see women now and the way we saw them then. The primary source that I found most valuable are the letters of John and Abigail Adams. This source contains many letters describing women's rights, equality, and also education. There are many letters between Abigail and John Adams that describe her struggle for equal rights. There are also letters that she had sent out to other women. Some of the letters she had sent out to John Adams talk of her fights with other neighbors on taking a black servant to school to gain an education. Some of the other letters she sent out were talking about the importance of women receiving education. The source also goes forth and talks about their lives and how they came to be and where they ended. Overall, This is a very credible source and is very useful in finding good resources to show she was a feminist and that she wanted equal rights for women. The author's viewpoint is that Abigail Adams had many arguments for women's rights and many arguments that African Americans deserved equal rights as well. The scholarly article that I found most valuable is The Court of Abigail Adams by David Shields and Tiote Frederica. This journal article shows Abigail Adams as a high up woman in society as First Lady. Many new positions had to be filled in for, and many duties had to be upheld in the White House. Not only does Abigail Adams prove she was capable of holding these positions that Martha Washington had left, but she also wanted to extend the views people have on women beyond manners and house life. She supported these clauses with her education and political instincts. Both authors' views on Abigail Adams is that she was a very capable woman with many beliefs in favor of feminism. In conclusion, Abigail Adams was far beyond her time. She is a strong female and feminist icon to people today. She made that very clear in a letter she sent to her husband describing all men would be tyrants. This quote from a 1776 letter proves that men need to disperse power to women because they have a different way of thinking, and that women deserve the same rights as men. She also believed that education is necessary for all races and gender, that without education you are cut short of where and how far you can go, as well as education being needed for political and social interaction. Adams believed the color on your face should not stop you, that Africans deserve to be free. These points come together and form reasons that Adams had a radical way of thinking. That same way of thinking is how we all think today.